be proactive. Second is begin with end in mind. Third habit is put first things first. Fourth habit is think win-win. Fifth habit is seek first to understand, then to be understood. Habit 6 is inner guides, and habit 7 is sharpen the shop. Okay, there was another habit that came on 2004 where he said like you need to motivate the people. You should aim at motivating the people. You should aim at improving or encouraging the people. So, okay, when it came to being I've discussed the first two habits. Like first habit is being proactive. Proactive is when you have to take an initiative, you have to manage a change, you have to respond proactively rather than waiting to be a reactive person. You have to keep commitments, you have to take responsibility and practice and accountability, you have to create a business result. So when it comes to being proactive, proactive is something which you won't find it in the ordinary dictionary actually, and but it is a very common term in management today. Nowadays, it's a very common term in management. Proactivity, when I talk about it, means like as a human being, we have to be very responsible for our own lives. Like we have to be always in our toes, as we do not know what kind of challenge we are going to face in the future. As we do not know what kind of challenge that we will be facing in our future. Now, if we think our lives as a function of our condition, it is because like we have by conscious decision or by default, we have to choose and empower those things. Like, for example, we have to decide what are the things that take control over us. We today in today's time, this time, we see like the technology has taken on more control over ourselves than we ourselves have our control. Like we spend maximum, if we see, we spend maximum of our time with our mobile phones here, with our laptops. We do some kind of surfing on the internet, we watch a movie, or we see any kind of things that will be that we need to do. Like even if you are working, most of your time goes to your technology. If you are seeing how much if you see that part, if you see like the 24 hours, how much time are we spending on ourselves, how much time are we self reflecting, like what we should be doing, what are our ideas, what are our aims, how much time are we spending? Almost like none. Like we have made ourselves to be very reactive rather than being proactive. We have been very reactive. Like reactive, matlab, once the situation passes, we give a reaction. Like yesterday, I was telling you, once the situation, most of our people have turned reactive in the terms like once the situation passes, we start blaming others for the situation. But when it comes to be being proactive, proactive is somewhere in the future we are seeing like certain kind of situation we will be facing and we will take action against it. Like we know like in another 1 year when the economy opens up, there will be getting lot many of jobs. So we have to take a proactive decision, or we have to be very proactive in terms like how are we going to make ourselves ready. Like 1 year when the economy opens up, there will be a lot many of management graduates who will be competing with you, along with you, for getting that job. Now how are you going to be standing out of it? So that is what being proactive is. Being proactive is basically is like recognizing our responsibility to make the things happen. You yourself is responsible for getting a job. Like no other person is going to get a job for you and will give it to you. So you yourself has to work for that. You yourself has to work very hard on getting that job. Now the people who end up with good jobs are those who actually look at the initiative of how they have started, what is the necessary things that they have done. They become very consistent with the correct principles. They see like the job has to get done, like I am aiming for this kind of job. If I am aiming for a public sector job, if I am aiming for being a civil servant, then we have, from the very beginning we have to look up for that, or from the very beginning we have to take an initiative of what are the things that has to be done so that I land up in that job. Like I have to do the necessary things. I have to be very consistent with the principles that I have set for myself. For example, I have worked with a group of people, um, earlier on the earlier phase of my career, I worked with the people where we were working for a home improvement industry. Like it was
हेलो।
in. Hello, yes.
हाँ मैम, आपने स्क्रीन शेयर किया है क्या?
स्क्रीन शेयर किया है ना?
मैम दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है स्क्रीन।
अच्छा, ओके ओके। ओके, अभी दिखा क्या?
यस मैम।
यस मैम। अभी दिख रहा है?
Yes, ma'am.
यस मैम दिख रहा है अभी। यस मैम।
ओके, जस्ट लेट मी नो। स्क्रीन चेंज हो रहा है क्या अभी? चेक करो।
नो मैम।
मुझे नहीं दिख रहा है। मुझे अभी यहाँ पूछ रहा है कि वेयर इज योर शेयर्ड विंडो, शेयरिंग इज पॉज्ड। तो आपको दिख रहा है ना पक्का?
यस मैम।
हाँ मैम दिख रहा है।
Okay. So initial phase of my career, I had started working with kind of what do you say? I started working with it was a bank. Like today, it is one of the very good banks. But initially, when it started, it was just Kotak Mahindra Bank. And during the time when I started my career, there was a heavy recession, and it was taking toll on the businesses. Like people were totally discouraged. Like after completion of your MBA, you will be landing a job with, like when you complete an MBA, you have this category. I will be getting this much of salary. You have the salary scale that you have kept in mind. So our placement officer was basically in every seminar he was telling us, like he was discouraging us, like this kind of situation, please do not expect a salary of more than 10,000. This is what I'm talking about in the year 2009. So you don't expect a salary of 10,000, do not expect a salary of 15,000, do not expect a salary of 25,000. But then still yet, when I landed up a job with Kotak Mahindra Bank, it was mine 18,600, and I was not on my home grounds. I was posted with Bangalore, so that is why the salary was 18,600. Maybe when if I would have been posted in my home ground, salary would have been 8,000 or something like that. Okay, so there was a heavy recession at that time. Recession in the time, like there was an like US economy has shown a very downfall, with the US economy falling down. All over the economy, they were suffering a lot. Like all the IT industries, basically from 2003 to 2008, the IT, there was a boom in the IT industry. It was a very dream job for all the people to be in the IT industry. Hefty pay packages, and working off for the weekend offs, and it was quite a, at that time it was quite a glamorous life that they were showing. And with the hefty pay packages, what they have done is they have started buying, they have started investing in real estates, they have started investing, buying in houses, products, everything. But then when they have purchased the products and houses, all of them were in kind of credit. They were not. They have not paid it in cash. Credit cards, they have started purchasing. Like every month, they used to pay installment for that. Now with this IT industry getting a hiccup, IT industry में थोड़ा सा hiccups आए थे, and then projects started closing down. When projects started closing down, people were put on bench. Some of the people were also taken out of the industry. When they were taken out of the industry, every month paying an installment was very, kind of hard. Paying that installment, कितना installment pay करेंगे? So the basic answer over there was how to survive. The basic answer was like how to survive. What are we going to do? It was a discouraging kind of situation. It was a very discouraging kind of situation. How are we going to survive? How are we going to pay the installments? Like what's going to happen in the future? Like, are we ever going to get a job? If we are going to get a job, are we going to get in that salary range? Are we going to get in that salary structure? So that was more depression in the minds of the people rather than the depression in the economy. So there was a very proactive question, like whenever we were into recruitment, whenever we were getting any kind of resumes, like we were getting resumes, people who had worked in IT sector also for the banking sector. Strictly there should not be any movement from the IT to banking, but then at that time people were so desperate that they were also looking for doing a marketing job for a banking, for an upcoming bank also. Like we have resumes who had already worked for 2 years in the IT industry, they were ready to work for the banking industry, they were ready to do marketing, selling door to door this current accounts, savings account, current accounts for the bank. So at that time, what my team leader suggested is it was not wise for those people, wise for us as a part of a bank to offer them a job. Rather than when we were talking to them, rather than when we are offering them, rather than ask them, assist them, saying like you can manage the situation better, you need to cut the cost, and you need to manage a situation. There will be a time when this IT will again boom, go to a boom situation, you will also get a job, but this is not a job for you. Okay, you have rather in this time you have to upgrade your skills. Rather in this time you have to self reflect on things like where you are going to change, how you are going to kind of how you are going to manage your finances for better, how you are going to manage your skills for the better. This is what being proactive is actually. Like you have to plan it 1 year down the line when the economy opens up, how you are going to meet with the demand, how you are going to do the things. Like every one of you has to be, every one of you has to be in a rat race of getting a job. Every one of you has to be in a race of getting a job. That too according to your requirement. So you need to work from here onwards. So you have to find a clue of your proactive habit in your like how you speak. This is a very small example I'm giving you. The time when you say like that's the way I am, अगर आप कहीं पे बोलते हो कि मैं ऐसे ही हूँ, like you have to accept me. That's the way I am. That means like there is nothing I can do about it. It generally means like you are not ready to change according to the situation. That is one negative aspect. If you're saying like this XYZ is a person in this group, XYZ is a person in this group, and he or she makes me so mad, he or she makes me so irritated. When I see them, I get so irritated. When I meet them, I get so irritated. It means like your emotional life is out of control. You are not in control of your emotional life. Like when you say, I have to do this, anyhow I'm going to do it. What does that mean? It means like you are not free to choose your own actions. You are not ready to accept like what are the other ways of doing it, or you are not ready to think about like what other way you can be doing it. Now for all of us when I'm saying like included me, there are many things that concern us and we cannot do anything about it. Like there are things which are beyond our control, there are things which we cannot do, which we cannot take an action now. So when we think about that thing, let those things be turned into an experience. Let those things be turned into one of the challenges. Like when we talk about being proactive, when we talk about proactive people, you have to work on your circle of influence. Like who are the people who are influencing you? Where you are getting influence? Whose views matter to you? Like आप किस लोगों कौन लोग हैं जो आपको इन्फ्लुएंस करते हैं, कौन लोगों का बातें आपको मैटर करता है. If you are going to see, keep your circles small. Like there will be some very few friends whose words matter to you. There will be your parents. There will be your very own relatives whose words matter to you. Keep your circle small. When you keep your circle small, then you will be knowing like you have to spend a very lesser energy in understanding them. But if it is a very wider circle, you have to use your like more energy in understanding, and you will be more affected to them. So the very first thing that this chapter and this habit ends with, that the person has said, like you have to, when you are looking for success, when you are looking for success, always remember success is always the other side of the failure. Once you have failed, that doesn't mean you are not going to get a success. It is just the other side of it. You need to work more so that you can switch over to the other side. Now this chapter ends and they say like you have to make three like you have to do exercise. if you are working on yourself, you have to be very proactive in your life. You have to work on, you have to see like how you are taking your decision. You have to do 3 exercises. The first exercise is draw a circle of influence. Keep yourself in the middle, draw a circle of influence. I suggest all of you, please do this exercise. आप लोगों को मैं ये बोल रही हूँ, like this is a book for you, this is a subject for you, but actually this is something which will help you in like it influences the personality. It will something help you. Some kind of gain definitely you will be getting. Okay, so the decision on you whether you will be following or not following, but then this is an exercise. The first exercise is keep yourself in the middle. Work on your smaller circle of influence. Smaller circle of influence मतलब एक circle होता है, and that circle consists of your parents. Circle of influence मतलब जिसका बातें आपको you are influenced by जिसके बातें, you are influenced by the person, by certain person जिसके बातें आपको अच्छे लगते हैं, like you look up to that person, or no, जिसका critics आपको बुरा लगेगा, something that will lead to increase. Those people I'm talking about, your parents, a few of your friends, a few of your relatives, yeah, whosoever. Yeah, there will be some person like whom you look up to. There will be some business leader whom you look up to. So work on your circle of influence कि ये मेरा circle of influence है. Then you would get to know like ये आपको helpful करेगा. You will get to understand like what these people think about you, where you have a chance of increment, or where you have a chance of increasing yourself, or where you have a chance of improving yourself. Second is make very small commitments to you. Make very small commitments to yourself. मतलब आज सुबह उठ के I have to go for a walk. आज सुबह उठ के I need to help my mother in doing or completing this kind of thing, housework. आज सुबह उठ के I might read 3 pages या 4 pages of a book. So make very small commitments to yourself. Write those commitments and then write whether you have kept them or not kept them. आप खुद भी छोटे छोटे कमिटमेंट्स आप खुद के लिए लिखिए, बहुत छोटे कमिटमेंट्स, लाइक आज सुबह उठ के मुझे चलने को जाना है, आज सुबह उठ के आई हैव टू डू एक्सरसाइज, आज सुबह उठ के आई हैव टू हेल्प माय मदर इन प्रिपेयरिंग द ब्रेकफास्ट, या आज सुबह उठ के मुझे 3 पेजेस पढ़ने हैं एक बुक के. तो मेक सच स्मॉल कमिटमेंट्स टू योरसेल्फ एंड देन राइट दोस कमिटमेंट्स एंड राइट वेदर यू हैव केप्ट दोस कमिटमेंट्स और नॉट. Then be very light to yourself. Do not be a judge to yourself. And every time that whatever action I am doing, I am going to be a model. Model does not mean वो जो model fashions होके model बनते हैं वो नहीं. Okay? Be very light to yourself. Do not be a judge of yourself, but then think like whatever actions I am doing or whatever reactions I am doing for a particular problem, or whenever I am finding a solution, I am being a model here. Like people will be whosoever, people मतलब your younger brother or sister, maybe your elder brother or sister, maybe your friends, they will be looking up to me. Okay, think like you are in a spotlight. People are going to look up to you when you are going to do particular thing, and always have a solution to a problem rather than the problem itself. And whenever you are solving a problem, write it somewhere. Okay, this is the first step of being proactive. This is what the person has, this is what the author has said, like this is somewhat being a proactive. You have to complete this exercise. Believe me, if you are completing this exercise, somewhere you will get to know where you are standing, whether you are a reactive person or whether you are a proactive person. The second that I have taught you, second habit yesterday that I have taught you is begin with the end in mind. Yeah, begin with the end in mind. Like in your mind you also get to see like you also get to imagine certain things. Like आप अगर मूवी में एक बाइक देखे हो, then imagine that bike. How many of you have seen that Batman movie? Batman movie किसने देखा है? Batman movie किसने देखा है? This is not something I'm asking you from the books. Batman movie देखा? कितने लोगों ने Batman movie देखा है? तीनों देखा है? The Dark Knight Rises, Batman तीनों देखा है? Okay. उसमें Batman का एक बाइक है, एक बैटमोबाइल है, एक बैटमैन की बाइक भी है. हाँ या ना, बैटमैन का एक
हाँ
बाइक भी है
हाँ मैम हाँ
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
है ना?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
हाँ
Imagine having that bike. I love that bike. I totally love that bike. खाली time पे भी I can imagine that bike. I can think about it. See yourself in your
फुल्ली
mind.
आर्म में मतलब
क्या?
उसमें फुल्ली आर्म मतलब वेपन
हाँ.
उसकी कार भी बहुत भारी है मैम
मोबाइल है वो. अरे मेरा स्क्रीन नहीं है अभी भी.
नो मैम अभी स्क्रीन ऑफ हो गया
No, ma'am.
स्क्रीन नहीं दिख रहा मैडम.
आपका मेरा दिख रहा है क्या?
यस मैम अभी दिख रहा है
प्लीज आपका कोई तो एक म्यूट करो. आपका घर का आवाज आ रहा है मुझे. ओके, सो दिस इज व्हाट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट. दिस इज व्हाट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट. बैटमैन का जो बाइक है वो. ओके ओके.
Yes, ma'am.
Now I'll be telling you something else to think about. How many of you have imagined? How many of you have thought about Titanic? Titanic का ship देखने के बाद how many of you have thought about to be in Titanic?
Yes, ma'am.
Then what else situation? Like I do not, मुझे ज़्यादा बॉलीवुड का situation ऐसे पता नहीं है. If I talk about okay, आपका Doom आया था एक movie that was on Doom 1, Doom 2. It was something like speeding of the bikes and chasing of the bad person by the police on very fancy bikes. How many of you have seen Doom bikes? How many of you can
Yes, ma'am.
imagine
Yes,
those
ma'am.
bikes? Okay, fine. Too much of yes. Any question? Anything? Too much of imagination of those bikes. Okay. आप कभी पुराने घर में रहे हैं? Like you earlier used to stay at one house, then you have moved into another area. You have moved into another locality. Someday when you visit those houses, you could just imagine or you could see कि आप यहाँ पे खेलते थे, इस घर में आप रहते थे. The neighbors were these people, the friends were these people. दुकानें ऐसे थे, like उस दुकान से आप खरीदते थे. That is what I'm trying to tell. What I'm trying to tell you is like what you are going to see in your mind's eye. आपका जो माइंड का जो आंख है ना, how good you can when you are thinking about that. Okay, like when I talk about this, how good you can in terms of seeing yourself in your mind's eye. When you initially begin a particular work, आप जब पहले ही एक काम start करते हो, then you should also have that capability. You should also have that capability of seeing the end in your mind. When you start a work, when you particularly start a work, this happens like when you are doing a pottery, when you kind of doing a drawing, or when you kind of doing some kind of hobby. So when you start with it, आप जब beginning में start करते हो, then you should also have your ability that you should be seeing the end of that in your mind. Now the second habit of effectiveness, what this person has talked about, the second habit of effectiveness, what this person has talked about, is you need to see the begin with the end in the mind. It means that you should know where you are going and where you are right now, or what are the next steps that you need to take for making that thing right, or what are the next steps you need to take so that you take into the right direction and you are achieving the perfect end that you had thought about. Now, in our day-to-day business, in our day-to-day life, we do a lot many of work. Like sometimes the regular life work are so much that we forget what are the time. Sometimes the regular day life work are so much that we forget. We forget very small things. अपने best friend का birthday भी भूल जाते हैं, या some kind of celebration that we forget, या किसी को call करना था वो भी भूल जाते हैं. Like every time we get trapped in this activity trap, it is a time where we have to take a step back and we have to think like why we have started this job, what will be the end, and who will be the persons who will be affected the most. Remember, you should keep in mind that you should not be a person who should be affected the most. Never. You should never be such a person in life. Like if you have started a work, for everything you are way above the work. You yourself is way above the work. You are just a person, you are just a medium who is doing that work. Now every day you do a very work, you work hard, you work harder, you work the hardest so that you can get a success, or you can discover something in that process, or you can build a wall for yourself on which you can lean. But then imagine a situation, आप बहुत अच्छे से काम कर रहे हो, you are working the hardest, you have started climbing on a success, you have started building a wall, but then what happens once you build that wall, आपको पता चलेगा that is a wrong wall that you have built. This is not the one that you wanted. आप समझ रहे हो मैं आपको क्या बोल रही हूँ? Like sometimes when you have started working very harder, you have started working hardest, you have started climbing a ladder where you have started building a wall. A wall मैं किसलिए बोल रही हूँ? So that a wall on which you can lean on. Suppose you have completed building that wall, but then you get to know that this is not the right wall, this is a wrong wall. So for that thing, so that at the end you do not realize that you have built a wrong wall, but you have built a right wall, you have to work very efficiently. But then when you start working, you should see, like, you should have a thought in your mind, you should have a projection that the wall which I am building, the end result that I am having in my mind will be the right wall, and it will never be the wrong wall. So how do we start? How do we start this from our home? How do we start this? The author has said, like, you have to make your own personal mission statement. Personal mission statement is you have to start working from your home itself. Now everyone of us is working from home, but then the first thing is you need to work from your home itself. From the home only you have to succeed. When I say you have to work from your home is try looking after your room. You should make sure that your room, everything in every product, every material, everything in your room is in the right place. Succeed at your home first. Succeed at your room first. Make sure that your home is okay. Make sure that your home is clean before going outside to clean others' room. Okay. Second is, somewhere, if you are seeking, or if you are a person who has a belief on the divine, or if you are a person who has a belief on that there is an external force, keep that belief to yourself. आपका अगर belief है कि you have a belief on the external force, that you have that there is a divine whom you are seeking to, there is a merit who you are seeking to, and आपका जब भी whenever you fall weak, you have this divine or this external force who will guide you out. Always seek to that. Rely on that external force. And third thing is, remember that you have to get people involved. Everything cannot be done in one time. Everything cannot be done once. You have to always involve people. Always you have to ask people for help. Like when you have stopped somewhere, ask somebody for your help. Ask your parents for your help. Ask for, if you are good with your faculty, ask your faculty for your help. And the most important thing is if you are good with your friends, ask your friends for help. Remember, every year, आप अगर देखे जाओगे, you people will be somewhat say 20-21 के एज ग्रुप में आप लोग रहोगे शायद, I guess, or maybe in the higher side of 25. You have to develop one proficiency a year. Always remember, by 20 if you are starting, 20 भी late नहीं है, 20 is also early. Like by 20 if you are starting, to the 50 you are reaching. Every year you have to develop one new proficiency. Proficiency मतलब either you learn a new language, either you learn a new skill, either you do something which will help you in learning. Keep a hobby. Hobby does not mean like sleeping is never a hobby, listening is never a hobby. It's something like developing a skill, new skill that will contribute to your personality. Okay. So while you are waiting, if you are waiting, currently you people are waiting to join the workforce. So when you are waiting, hustle matlab, do something about it. Just don't sit idle. Okay. Just don't sit idle. Do something on your own. Learn a new language. Learn a new thing. Do something. Don't just sit idle. Then keep a sense of humor. That is very essential. Keep a sense of humor. You might be a very good person. You might be very good in everything. You might be very good in skill and everything. But if you do not have a sense of humor, if you take everything seriously, if you take, even if it is a critic, like somebody who is just kidding with you, if you are not taking it in that way, believe me that nothing is going to work out. Not even your interpersonal relations, not even your personal relations. So this is a personal mission statement. Second habit says, like, the first thing is you need to work on your home. Once you succeed at your home, then you move and help others. Second is, if you have a belief on the external force or you need a divine help, if you are believing on it, keep believing on it. Third is, remember that you have to help people. Remember that you have to involve people. Somewhere where you are stopping, you need to involve people and ask, like, please help me out. There are people who are ready to help you out. Fourth is, develop a new proficiency, develop a new skill every year. If you start at 20, by 50 you would have 30 skills. Okay. Fifth is, hustle while you wait. Sixth is, keep a sense of humor. Now today's generation, they have a very new set of things. Like, people earlier used to be a YouTuber. YouTuber is a way of earning money. Now people started doing not those kind of short videos on what they say, Instagram पे कुछ तो आता है वो short videos where they make their own content, develop their own content and put it in it's a good way. TikTok था earlier, but I do not know. YouTube and Facebook and this Instagram have started on doing this short videos. Like, that is also a way of earning money. That is a way of, like, people are earning money. Stand-up comedy is a new it's a new area where people are going. Like, it's a new job right now. Stand-up comedy. So think how situations are changing. Like, if you start from 20 and by the time you reach 50, you are getting 30 skills, 30 proficiency, then it's very good. At least if you start reading one book per year, then by 50 you will be reading 30 books. That is on you, like whether you will be doing it or not doing it, that depends on you. Now you call these things as a personal mission statement, or it is as if like it is written in the constitution. Like it is like you cannot change this. Okay. Now the key to living is you have to maintain this, like you have to retain a sense of who you are and what you value. Once you succeed at home, then believe me, you will succeed at other places also. Like as they say, charity begins at home. It is somewhat similar with the same lines. Now, वो जो book है, वो book में दिया है कि what centered you are. Like, are you money centered, or are you working for your professional development, or if you are a family person, are you family centered? Then if you are married, are you spouse centered? ऐसे करके उस book में कुछ values दिए हैं. Like, what centered are you? Like, if you are a money centered person, आप अगर money centered person हो, आपको जो भी हो जाए, you live for money, then you have to weather, you have to see like the economic ups and downs आपको bear करना पड़ेगा if you are a money centered person. Okay, you cannot just cry about when there is a down in the economy, and you cannot be happy when there is an up in the economy. Since you are a money centered person, you have to weather, like when there is a down in the economy, you have to weather that. If there is an up in the economy, you similarly have to. किसने किया? सौरभ खेंडके, आपने क्या शेयर किया है? What are you sharing? Okay. Then if you are a family-centered person, you have to prioritize. You have to assume that everybody, you have to understand everybody, and everybody has to understand. Everybody will understand what your economic demands are. Like, you have to work, you have to get the money. Okay. So, what kind of priorities you are setting? Like, whenever you are in work, if it is a family thing, then you totally have to leave the work and move to the family part. What kind of person you are, whether you are money-centered, family-centered, spouse-centered, you are looking for your own professional development. Okay. So that is what how the second habit changes. Like everyone has their own specific vocation in life. Everyone has their own mission statements. Unlike organizations, they have their mission statements. Why do organizations have their mission statements? Because they know like once they have started, they will be ending somewhere. So similarly, for every human being, once you have started something, you may end it somewhere. Like your mission statement may sometimes take you weeks to write. Like आपका जब तक फाइनल फॉर्म आएगा तब तक 6 महीने में चला जाएगा. But then it is very essential that you start. It is very essential that those mission statements, those expressions will be your innermost values and directions, and that will help you. That will help you. That will support you. That will be a key for the each person to be a very good for being a very good human being, to be very committed to a job. That will help everyone that the contribution that these people make to this organization is a real contribution. Now we come to the habit 3. Habit 3 is put first things first. I can't help it. अभी दिखा क्या? अभी मुझे नहीं दिख रहा है. बोल रहा है कि Saurav Khenke, we are not interested in seeing your whatever you are trying to show us. आपका वीडियो ऑफ कीजिए. You have stopped sharing the screen. मुझे ऐसे ये आ रहा है कि I have stopped sharing the screen. Screen आपको दिख रहा है क्या?
हाँ मैम, हैबिट 3 का दिख रहा है स्लाइड.
Habit 3. Put first things first.
यस मैम.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. एक मिनट. Just a minute. को मैं आईटी वाले को भेजती हूँ कि मेरा ऐसे स्क्रीन मेरा ऐसे आ रहा है. Okay. Habit 3 says like put first things first. Here I like to ask you one question. Like for you people, what like when we say first thing, what is your first things? For you people right now there are around 40 people over here. When I ask you like what is your first thing? What is your first thing? आपको अगर everything in this world will be weighed down, आपका first thing क्या है? What is your first thing?
Our goal.
Your goal is your first thing. Okay.
Professional goal.
Professional goal. Forget about professional, personal. Forget about everything. Just consider yourself a normal human being. Tell me what is your first thing. Like first thing, what is your first person? Anything, like something very, very important to you. Very important. You will trade the whole world for that one first thing. So what is that first thing?
फैमिली मैम.
What else? सबको पूछ रही हूँ.
Health.
Family. What else?
Ma'am, money.
Are you money? और फैमिली, हेल्थ, मनी और
happiness.
हैप्पीनेस. यस.
होम
होम.
मैम फूड.
फूड.
या.
अच्छा. व्हाट एल्स?
वेल सैलरी जॉब.
कौन बोला रही है? वेल सैलरी जॉब.
तेजस मैम.
अच्छा. ओके. और
फ्रेंड्स.
फ्रेंड्स. कोई बोला क्या फ्रेंड्स?
यस मैम.
किसने बोला?
श्रुति कोडक.
हाँ, श्रुति. फिर और time. There is something called as time. Our time is limited actually. Time, friends, family, health, food, money. What else? All of you just covered the basic things like home. मास्लोज साइकोलॉजिकल थ्योरी में जो 5 स्टेप्स थे आप लोगों ने वही कवर कर लिया है. Nobody said about self satisfaction. Nobody said about I myself. मतलब I मतलब you people, like खुद. Nobody said about self. Okay. So this, when we talk about put first things first, this is actually one of those habits which shapes your leadership skills. Okay. There are leaders when it comes to like अगर हम हमारे लाइफ में लीडरशिप है देखते हैं, सेल्फ लीडरशिप या सेल्फ मैनेजमेंट देखते हैं, then we need to understand that what are the first, that we need to put the first things first. हमारे लिए वो first thing मतलब क्या होता है? When we talk about leadership, leadership is deciding like what are the first things. अगर हम leadership decide करते हैं, for a leader, you have to decide what are the first things. And if you but management is like it's a discipline which helps you carry out the program. Management जो रहता है ना, you have to understand like how you are managing those first things. Like how are you managing the time? How are you managing the money? How are you managing your family? How are you managing your friends? So that is how put first things first put on. Like Peter Drucker is one of the management guru who has said like who has laid much emphasis on time management. He says like everybody in this person, everybody in this heart are there and are sitting on a time bomb. Like every time the time is ticking down. We have a very constant amount of time. No matter what are we going to do, the challenge that we face is like we have to manage ourselves. We do not know how much time we have with us. Everything we just know that every time, every moment I speak, there is a 1 second less from the time that I have. If this one class that I am taking, it means like 1 hour less than the time I'm having. So the very important challenge that you would be facing over here is you need to manage yourself. And if you have to be a very effective manager, if you are being to be a very effective employee, the first thing is you must organize and you must execute around your priorities. Write down yourself the 7 priorities that you have in your life. Like what is your priority number 1, what is your priority number 2, what is your priority number 3 and what is your priority number 7. 7 priorities, आपके life के 7 priorities आप लिख के रखिए. Because we don't manage the time. Time is something which we do not manage. But what we manage is we manage ourselves. So instead of what like trying to fit everything in our lives, मतलब एक time allotted हमें हुआ है, instead of fitting everything in our lives, like हमें घर खरीदना है, हमें गाड़ी खरीदना है, हमें we need to go on a Europe tour or we need to go on overseas जाना है. Instead of fitting everything in that allotted time, what we do is we need to make time management plans, we need to enhance the relationships and we have to achieve the results within it. It might be like I do not have a house today, I do not have a four-wheeler today, I have not gone outside India, but then I'm happy with the way I am. I'm happy with the place that I have chosen myself. Like I'm happy with that teaching that I'm doing. This is just an example I'm telling you, okay? Don't take it seriously. I'm not happy with some of the things. Just kidding. Now, every one of us, we face a dilemma, like we are caught between what is urgent and what is important. Every day we have this dilemma with us, and some of the urgent things that requires our immediate attention, that those things are visible, and some things it is like it presses us, like आपको असाइनमेंट दिया गया है, एक साथ से 5 असाइनमेंट दिए गए हैं, डेट्स भी दिए गए हैं, you have to understand which assignment is urgent, किसका असाइनमेंट करके हमें पहले देना पड़ेगा. Okay, and some of these are visible. This is a situation which is visible and it has an impact on the long-term goals. Now, like when we talk about important things is like something which is contributing to the mission statements that you have written, something which is contributing to your high priority goals, something which is contributing to your values. Now, you have to react to the urgent matters. Like, every time whenever it comes to urgent matters, you have to react to it, but then you also must take care of your important matters. Even if as urgent matters scream, अभी आप अगर assignment करके नहीं दोगे, urgent matters will definitely scream. Like आप अगर मेरे assignment नहीं दोगे, then I am going to shout. If you are not going to give the assignment of Amar sir, he will shout. Okay, urgent matters are something which you need to prioritize and you have to give it to them. But then in that timeline, वो करते करते you have to remember that you have some important matters to attend to. Like you have to look after for your mission statements. Okay, ये जो urgent और important matter में people every day they deal with, they actually get carried away by like अभी क्या करना है, पिछले कब करेंगे, फिर मैनेजमेंट नहीं रहता है, फिर टाइम चला जाता है. So here the author has given one time matrix, which I will be showing it to you आगे जाके, that there is a time matrix, that you have to set a matrix, one matrix which is said like which are very urgent, like if you are in a job, you have to meet the deadlines. If you are with your family, like you have thought about you are going to contribute some or the other way to your parents, then you have to put that like how you are going to contribute. Time management quadrant बोला जाता है उसको. Like वो पहले quadrant रहेगा. क्वाड्रेंट इसमें नहीं है, मैं आपको क्वाड्रेंट करके दिखाती हूँ. वो क्वाड्रेंट देखने के बाद आपको समझ में आ जाएगा कि 4 क्वाड्रेंट होता है. क्वाड्रेंट 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 में कैसे कहाँ पे चीजें रहेंगे, लाइक वेयर यू हैव टू बी वेरी प्रोएक्टिव. 2 में कैसे रहेंगे, 3 में कैसे रहेंगे और 4 में कैसे रहेंगे. Like that it has been understood where one exercise has been taken through. If I remember it clearly, एक शॉपिंग सेंटर के मैनेजर्स को वहां पे कंसिडर किया गया है. Like when you are working in a mall में जो शॉपिंग सेंटर्स रहते हैं ना, वहां के जो मैनेजर्स रहते हैं ना, they are under tremendous pressure of showing their sale. And कहीं जगह पे ना वो सेल उतना उनका नहीं होता है. So they are under tremendous pressure. They have to understand कि how they are going to improve their sale. Both actually, this is actually an example that has been given in the book. मैं भी थोड़ा भूल गई हूँ, but then if I recall it, it is like how they are managing the time, how they are giving it to their employees, how they are giving it to their customers, how they are giving it to the advertisements and promotions of those material, and how they are giving it to themselves. Like how much time they are distributing. वो नहीं है मेरे पास अभी, नहीं तो मैं आप लोगों को दिखा देती. Like मुझे जितना याद है उसमें एक क्वाड्रेंट ऐसा है, like they have to identify key roles. One is business, one is family, one is it comes to the society, yeah, whatever they think like it is important, and the other part is they themselves. So when it comes to businesses, they have to understand what the businesses is. They have to understand how they are going to integrate their employees as well as their customers. Similarly, they have to understand how they are integrating between themselves and the top management. When it comes to family, they have to integrate themselves with the family members and the demands of those family members. Like you have to attend a wedding, you have to attend a birthday party, you have to contribute some amount of money when somebody is sick in the family. So how you are going to manage yourself and the family members over there? Then you have to maintain yourself, manage yourself with the society. When we talk about a society as a whole, suppose you are a member of a particular group, you are a member of आपका एक friend circle है who works for the betterment of the society, like you are into doing some kind of social activities. So how you are going to manage yourself with themselves? There will be situations where they demand full attention of yours and it will not be possible to give full attention. There are situations where they will be asking some kind of financial help to you where it will not be possible. Some kind of quadrants वो रहता है. Next class में मैं आपको दिखाती हूँ. Okay? I'm ending my class right now. Next class में I'll show you and I'll help you in understanding that. It is something which will be helpful to you also. आपके life में भी वो projection करने पर help होता है. So any doubt in today's class? Anything you need to ask me?
No, ma'am.
There's been a very poor response from everyone in the class.
मैडम
Yes,
पीछे की
yes.
स्लाइड्स भी दिखाओ ना मैडम, फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड वो दिखे नहीं स्टार्टिंग में.
स्टार्टिंग में नहीं दिखे क्या मैं आपको? दिखे क्या अभी?
हाँ फर्स्ट दिख रहा है अभी, कोर्स आउटलाइन दिख रहा है.
हाँ, ये आपका कोर्स आउटलाइन है. बी प्रोएक्टिव, हैबिट 2 इज बिगिन विद द एंड इन माइंड. दिस इज
मैम इसमें भी एमसीक्यू आएंगे क्या मैम?
हाँ, ऑफ कोर्स भरे भरे. और द थिंग इज इसके एमसीक्यूज रेडी नहीं हुए हैं. ये मैंने कल पढ़ाया था आप लोगों को.
यस मैम.
ये मैंने कल आप लोगों को पढ़ा दिया था. ओके, ठीक है. Shall I leave now? Any more questions?
No, ma'am.
मैडम ये अभी सब ये सब्जेक्ट अभी मैडम मतलब एग्जाम के लिए कैसा मीडियम है, टफ है, कैसा?
ये सब्जेक्ट का एग्जाम आप लोग फर्स्ट टाइम देने वाले हो, क्योंकि आपके जो बैच ऊपर बैच था ना, उस टाइम एग्जाम कैंसिल हो गया था. तो इसके बारे में मैं भी आपको कुछ नहीं बता सकती. ये फर्स्ट टाइम एग्जाम देने वाले हो ये सब्जेक्ट पे आप लोग,
नए सिलेबस के.
नए सिलेबस के.
ओके ओके
ठीक है. बट देन बाय द एंड ऑफ दिस हम लोगों को सर्कुलेट हो जाएगा, एमसीक्यूज आ जाएंगे. हमें भी कंट्रीब्यूट करना है ना पुणे यूनिवर्सिटी के एमसीक्यूज को, तो इसलिए तब तक शायद एमसीक्यूज निकल जाएंगे. द ओनली वन थिंग इज यू नीड टू बी वेरी क्लियर अबाउट योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग. ठीक है.
यस मैम.
थैंक
यस
यू.
मैम. थैंक यू मैम.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.